up for us. So today, we're going into Module 3. Module 3, the language of love. Module 3, the language of love. And we're going to be examining this module extensively going on from now. But one of the things I believe I need to do this morning before we continue is to do a brief review of what we experienced this week. Wednesday was amazing, Thursday was amazing, Friday was amazing, and yesterday was also very, very amazing. Please, if you're a member of this church or you are listening to me at whatever point in time and you were not available, even if you were available during the conference, I will advise that you get to the website, go to the Facebook platform of the church at CBC Nigeria, or go to the YouTube platform at CBC Nigeria and listen to and watch those messages over and over and over again. And for the technical people, I don't know technology that much. If there's a way we can have maybe like, what is that thing that they normally scan? Is it like barcode or something? If there's a way to have a code that people will just scan and download, I don't know if that's possible, but if there's a way to just scan it so that we'll just give it so that people can use their phone to scan and download the message. So if you can do that maybe by next week Sunday, so you technical guys, you work out if it's possible. Me, I don't know much about that. You know, me, I'm old school. So so that we can scan the code and then download all the messages for these 5 days, because it's amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Some of the things that we learned this week and some of the things that were reinforced and re-emphasized. I took time in the course of the week. I'm saying all this so that I can be on record along with the new rules of love, so that I can be part of this message. I spent time extensively sharing on building positive family traditions. Building positive family traditions, and we established a lot of things that will be a tremendous blessing to you as an individual and as a family. And then when Pastor Kingsley came up, he shared extensively on the importance of the family, the importance of having a strong home, and he began to help us to understand that the family affects every other aspect of our life, just like I already said before he came on board. And there's so much struggle on earth, so much trouble, that you should not now add family trouble to your trouble. And he said, if you came from a broken home should not come from you. You need to be able to learn to change the narrative, and you should not allow your next to suffer for the crimes of your ex. And he said a lot of other things. That by the time Pastor Mildred came up, she was talking about, and it's amazing that by the time Pastor D came on Friday, it was like all the women were in the same trajectory. And she was talking about the concern that she has for the family, how people are just divorcing anyhow, even before they actually be is one the second time. They have already said they are divorced. And then she wanted to help us to understand how come people marry for 50, 60 years in the olden days, and in these days we seem not to have what it takes to be able to keep things for a very, very long time. So she began to itemize, number one, that family is important. And it's very, very important for you to understand the place of family. She began to talk about the fact that men that are leaders are no more leading the way they're supposed to be leading. Women that are honorable and serving are no more. Then charity begins at home and all those stuff. Very, very powerful. And then by the next day, Pastor Kingsley came and began to talk to us more about foundations and how you need to make sure that you have the right foundation in your own personal life and in your relationship. And then he went on to begin to talk about the A to Z, the things that men need, the things that women need. And then Pastor Mildred came and continued in the same trajectory that she started with, and helped us to understand that every family, every marriage goes through a process. So don't look at the finished product. And they began to tell us some stories of some of the challenges that they have had to walk through in order to be able to get to where they are today. Then by Friday, my God, by Friday, Pastor Kenny just came and broke the table and brought another dimension and spoke to us about the aspect of the surviving marriage, talking about the marriage vow, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. And he began to explain to us things that we need to survive. And it was an amazing revelational session. Then by the time Pastor D came, she just scattered everything. Don't throw it away. My God. That was just amazing, because the fact that there are bumps on the road and there are potholes on the road does not mean you must abandon the journey. You continue the journey, because the journey is more important than all the things that you face. And it's very easy for us to just discard everything, all in the name of, I can't cope, I can't cope. When your car is bad, you go and repair it. You don't discard the car. When your fridge is bad, you get a repairer. But when your marriage is bad, you don't go for counseling. You don't seek help. You say you want to discard. It was just amazing. Then at the beach yesterday, I've not yet gotten the reports from the couple session, because we could not do some of the things we needed to do because of some logistical issues. But we had the session for couples, the session for singles, and then we had the session for teenagers. So when we get the feedback from the couple session, I'll probably be able to bring that up next week Sunday and look at that. But the technical people, I believe, will still do a video review. So technical guys, help us with a video review of this conference from Wednesday to Sunday, and then the beach, especially those games and all those stuff, so that we can have like a 5 minutes or 7 minutes review next week Sunday, so that people can see all the highlights of the entire Family Life Conference. But when we had the session with the single people yesterday, some things came up that I feel we need to add to this message of New Rules of Love Masterclass. And I want to highlight some of them. And in case I forget anyone, so begin to think of whichever one I didn't mention. But I think there are about 5 things I need to talk about. So if I'm true and there are any other one, feel free to remind me of anyone. So now, our focus when we met with the singles was to look at 2 things. Number 1, what are the unique challenges of today's singles? The singles of today, what are their major challenges? Are there challenges that singles face today that the singles of previous times and previous era did not really face? And the second thing we wanted to look at was, why is it that we have a lot of matured singles that are not married? We have a lot of people in their 30s, some in their 40s, and they are not married. Why? Is it that difficult to get a husband? Is it that difficult to get a wife? And then as we began to look at that, beginning from the aspect of pressure and the aspect of unique challenges, one of the things that was mentioned is the fact that in today's world, they have a lot of pressures. A lot of pressure. That the pressure they are facing right now is so massive. They are facing pressures from parents. They are facing pressure from the society. They are facing pressure with reference to morality and sexual issue. They are facing pressure from music. They are facing pressure from the friends and the association they keep. And then social media. That there's so much pressure from the social media that was not existing before now in the magnitude with which it is existing now. And then we try to help them to understand how to be able to navigate all the things. And they even spoke about the fact that there are so many dating sites that are now available, that dating app, that people are just going online and doing all kinds of stuff. And then they also spoke about the fact that what I said on Friday, which is the fact that there's so much distraction and there's no communication. So a lot of people that even when you enter into a bus and you are supposed to be chatting with a guy, or a guy is supposed to be chatting with you, the very minute you enter bus, everybody's on their phone. So nobody's even having time to connect, to be able to say, okay, let me get to know you, let me get your number. Even when you meet people in an office or in a public place, which is supposed to be a place for connection, everybody's on their phone. And that is a major pressure, a major distraction that has affected a lot of them. And the issue of the society that we live in right now, money, 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 money. There's so much need for things to be in place in order for people to be able to consider themselves okay. And that's one of the things that we shared. And we all, as young people and as people in our world today, need to understand that no matter the changes in the world, God does not change. No matter the changes in the world, the values of God, the standards of God does not change. But God is the unchanging changer. Even though he does not change, he has the ability to change things. And instead of allowing ourselves to be moved by the changing world, let's hold on to the unchanging hands of God, so that as we stay connected to him, he will help us to navigate all the changes. Now, we then went on to this aspect of marriage. And then our sisters started the journey to trouble the water. And they said, and one of the reasons why a lot of them are not married is because, number one, the guys of today are insecure. The guys of today are not sure of themselves. The guys of today are not ready to take responsibility. The guys of today has already prejudged them. So when they see a woman, because of the way the woman is dressed, because of the way the woman presents herself, they already conclude that this one is heavy load. They already conclude that this one is money she's after. And they prejudge us as women. I'm talking on their behalf now. They prejudge us as women because they believe we are looking for money, as if we don't have our own money. That we have our money, so we don't need your money. We've gone at the days when you think that we are looking for your money. And then a brother now stood up and scattered the table in reply and said, it's easy for you people to say, but how many of you can start with a man in one room? That in Calvary now, we said marriage is one room. Meaning once you have a room, you have a bed. He said, but how many of all of you here can start with a man in one room? So I countered the brother. I said, you are actually doing exactly what they said you are doing. Because now you have already assumed that they can't stay in one room. Where did you get the idea from? Do you have an example of anybody that you wanted to marry that didn't marry you because of one room? He said no. But his friend was going out with a girl for 2 years, and when he now proposed, the girl said no. I said okay. Then the sisters counter and said, look, me, they stood on one by me, I can stay in one room. Me, and so they started conversation. So it's not about room. One room is not the problem. Do you have a vision? Are you hardworking? Can you be trusted? That is not about one room, because you are talking of one room as if me, I'm not living somewhere before I met you. I'm living somewhere before I met you now. So if you are coming, if you have one room money and I bring one room money, we can have self-contained. But the problem is you have already concluded that, but while the sisters seem to be winning in the discussion, another sister came and now scattered the sister's table and now said, why you people say you want to start in one room? No problem, but hear my story. At the age of 18, I started with one man in one room. 6 years later, at the age of 24, he has 3 bedrooms, he has 2 cars, and the relationship ended. He said, me, how do you say, I am pulling him down, that I'm weighing him down. A man that I met in one room, that in 6 years became a homeowner with 2 cars. He said, me, I'm pulling him down. That so when you are saying you want to go and suffer with a man in one room, many of these guys are irresponsible. They will look for a woman that is ready to help them when they are now in a stage where they feel they can choose anyone. They will now abandon you to go and choose anyone. And so while you are trying to suffer with a man from one room, shine your brain, shine everything, shine and well. But when the guys will counteract, they said, look, what people are saying, let us also bring our own personal experience. A brother now stood and said, in Calvary, not another church, Calvary Bible Church, where I have been for 10 years, me, I have spoken to 2 women, and they told me, Koro, do you have a car? Do you have a house? And when I say I don't have car, I don't have a house, they are not ready. He says, so pastor, this one is not me, I'm a member for over 10 years, and these 2 sisters, they are inside church, Calvary to Calvary. Then while the sisters were making us, another brother stood up and said, look, sir, it's true that in fact I spoke to a lady we are just gisting to say, okay, let me check her out. The first week, we have not spent 2 Sundays, 1 Sunday. Before the next Sunday, she was already calling me that their department wants to sew cloths, that I should pay for the cloths of their department. Calvary, so that before we continue master class, this one at the master class, that these sisters are too demanding, they are materialistic, and at the end of the day, they are so shallow that you sit down with them, you can't have an intelligent conversation. That when you sit down, one brother said, you sit down in a date of like 3 hours, you are the one talking, she doesn't have anything to say. The next thing, she's on her phone, even in your date that you are paying for. That's so, is it not better to now? And then another brother said, sir, I bought a used car, not Tokumbo, Nigerian second hand. That the very minute I bought the Nigerian second hand, my phone did not rest. Sisters were calling me, Calvary sisters, calling me. Hi, you want to hang out? Hi, what are you doing next Saturday? Can you take me? I have a wedding. Can we go together? That the sisters were on him. Then, because it's a second-hand used car, while the car they give him trouble, he now sold the car. That the very minute he sold the car, nobody was calling him again. Calvary sisters. That nobody was calling him again. That for weeks, his phone will go, no call. And that one of the people that used to trouble him even passed by his side and didn't even acknowledge him, just walk up past as if he doesn't exist. So then the sisters came up again. So it was on and on and on and on. But one other thing that I see, because people kept talking of, no, I need to have some money, I need to have this, I need to have that. But one of the brothers came with a very important fact. He said, look, what you guys are calling demand and pressure from the sisters is actually for your own good. Because are you not going to have a house to marry? Are you going to marry into your mother's house? If you have a car, is it not for your own good? Are you not going to move around? That's so when you are saying that they are demanding, they are pressure, don't you think that many of you are pursuing relationship too early? You are actually supposed to pursue vision and pursue destiny to get to a place where you can now begin to talk of going into a relationship. And he gave his own story of how for like 4 years of his life he had to abandon relationship because he suffered. How that even to pay transport fare to go and see the girl he didn't have. And he realized that it was just struggle, unnecessary pressure, and the thing was heartbreak 2 times. He now told us about face your life, face your vision. And that now things are picking up. And a lot of the guys seem to still have this idea of, I need to have this, I need to have this, I need to have this, I need to have this before I marry. And I made them to understand that any journey of faith that excludes faith is not a journey of faith. So if you claim to be a child of God and the element of faith and the element of believing God for things in your life has been removed from your journey, you are operating in error. Because we have become so materialistic and we have become so carnal and calculative that we want to understand everything before we embark, and it does not work like that. Then we had a very maybe 2 major things that came up that I want us to discuss. Then I go into the new, we'll now continue the manual. One is the sisters came up with the fact that, sir, we are not married sometimes, not because we as the sisters are not ready to marry or go ahead with the guys, but our parents. That our parents put us under pressure to marry, but at the same time, they are the one hindering us from marrying. They are putting you under pressure to marry, but at the same time, they want to determine who you marry, where he comes from, his financial status, the kind of wedding you should do. So when you see a guy that has vision, that has one room, that is going somewhere, and you love him and you believe you can start together, your parents will now say, never. I suffer with your father, you two want to go and suffer. That's why most of the parents want to live their failed life through their children. Most of the parents see, after I sent you to school, you want to go and start with one poor man like your father. That's why most of the parents are putting them under pressure to be materialistic. So they don't want them to marry for love. The parents want them to marry for financial security, so that they can get someone to come and take care of the family trouble. And if that is truly the case, now if you are here today, you are a parent, you have a child that is 13 years and above, stand up. You are parents, you have a child that is 13 years and above, because you are the culprits. So that I should give the message to you, you are the problem now. So you are here, you are the people that they are sending me to. Now, listen and listen well. There are many of you standing up right now, and you know a lot of people. When you started out, there was nothing. But today, together, working with your spouse, things are getting better. You cannot live your life through your children. Stop putting these young children under unnecessary pressure. Your children are not your retirement plan. Your children are not an economic plan. So all this idea of you giving birth to children, you now want them to go and be bringing money for you, it is an error. And if you are a Christian parent and a kingdom parent, we cannot be adding to the problem of our children, because they say you people want big wedding. That even when they want to just do small wedding, say, no, my friend, this person did wedding. How can it be said that my own child wants to do wedding? If you want your child to do big wedding, sponsor the big wedding. If you don't have the money to sponsor the big wedding, don't put anybody under unnecessary pressure. And I am using this opportunity to officially inform you and let them know that they should come and report you to me. When you become part of that kind of parents in this church, they will report you to me. I will bring you to the altar and give you microphone to explain yourself to the church. Maybe there is a revelation you have that we don't have, that you think that to do big wedding is better than to buy a land or build a house for your children. To do big wedding is better than to give them money to start business. To do big wedding and please all your people that don't know you is better. So let us know how to report. So if those of you that have children now, I started from 13. So go and start talking to your daughters now. They should have their own. Because when they have their own, they will not be getting married because they are looking for a sponsor. They will not be getting married because they are looking for economic sustenance. They will be getting married because they have found a destiny partner. And two of them coming together will make things better. We will not fail in Jesus' name. God bless you. I think I've covered everything. It's only genotype remaining. So there is one other aspect that a lady brought up, that what do we do, that one of the reasons why people don't get married early, apart from a lot of other things that we shared, is this issue of genotype. And that most of the time, so what wisdom should be applied with reference to that. So I want to speak to that also, because it's possibly something that affects few people. Please listen. I've taken you on a journey in the last few weeks, and we have learned that you don't fall in love. We've seen attraction, we've seen all kinds of things. So when you already identify that you are beginning to have feeling and affection for someone, or someone is getting close and you are sensing that this thing may open a floodgate of love, that is the time to have this serious discussion. Because once your emotion is attached, your brain goes on sabbatical. That's why they say love is blind. Love is not blind though. But when people are in love, they are blind to reality. And when you are blind, marriage will open your eyes. You will now realize that because those jiggy that is doing you, it will soon go down when life eats you. So before you enter that jiggy level, that's the time to ask the intelligent, serious-minded questions. And one of the questions you need to ask at that point is the genotype question. Because once you are identified that the genotype thing is not compatible, God has told us, science has told us, experience has told us. Don't wait for your own experience, thinking your experience will change the story. Just know that I love you, but we cannot go on beyond this point. Question: if you fall in love, I'm using fall now, if you fall in love with someone and discover the person is your cousin, or the person is your sibling, a child that your father has with a side chick that you are not aware of, will you continue the love? So the love go quickly die straight. That's the same way you should die when you discover that the genotype is not compatible. Don't say, but I love you. Don't get it all those corrupted love. It's a mental problem. Hello? And don't also get into this foolishness that you say you are having faith. Faith does not deny facts. So if you have faith that the blood group or the genotype will change, let your faith change it before you marry. So the faith should be exercised before you marry. Not you marry believing that, maybe out of 3 children, the first one, you now begin to do all those calculations. I can tell you stories upon stories upon stories of people that tried that permutation, it didn't work. And that love you think you have, when you bring a sickle seller into this world, when the trouble starts, 2 of them go to fight every day. That love when I get, you go see say love is not enough. I hope with this viewpoint of mine, I've been able to give you a review. So let's go to the manual. Let's see what I can do in 10 minutes. We'll continue next week Sunday. So let's go to the manual, the new rules of love. So the language of love, sorry. So does love really have a language? When you say the language of love, what does it mean? Is it Hausa? Is it Igbo? Is it Yoruba? Does love really have a language? The language of love refers primarily to the way people interpret and receive love. And knowing how to speak the language of love is very vital to every relationship. When we say the language of love, it means that every individual you meet, there is a way they interpret love. As far as they are concerned, love is interpreted from their own perception and perspective. For instance, when you talk of new rules of love, language of love among spouses, a man was invited by the pastor to the office because the wife had gone to meet with the pastor and complained to the pastor that the husband does not love her anymore. And when the pastor invited the husband and the wife to his office, they sat down. And the pastor said, "You're welcome, my brother. I just wanted to see you because your wife had come to see me and she told me that you don't love her anymore. And I just want to know, is there anything she has done to offend you that you don't love her?" So the man was confused. He said, "Pastor, I don't love her anymore." He said, "Please help me ask her. Don't I pay rent? Has she ever been homeless? Help me ask her. Is she hungry? Is there any food that she wants to eat that she's not eating? Help me ask her. Is she naked? That there's no clothes at home? Help me ask her. Is there anything that she asked me to do that I can afford that I did not do? Because I don't understand. Help me ask her. Have I ever raised my hand to slap or beat her or abuse her? So what is this love thing that she's talking about?" And the woman said, "When last did you tell me you love me?" "Tell you I love you." And the guy said, "Is that your problem? When we got married, did I not tell you I love you? If I change my mind and I don't love you anymore, I will come back and tell you I don't love you. I've already told you I love you. That's why I married you. So I've not changed my mind." So now you see how that the man is taking care of responsibilities of love. He's paying rent, he's paying the bills, taking care. And as far as he is concerned, that's my expression of love. But the woman is saying, all that one you are doing, I want to hear you say it consistently. So that means that the man is speaking a language that the woman does not understand, and the woman is speaking a language that the man does not understand. When it comes to children, you also need to be able to find out what the love language of your children are. What do your children consider to be love? A man one day was approached by his son, and the son said, "Dad, how much do you earn per hour in your office?" Say, "Why?" You say, "I just want to know what's the salary, what's your..." He said, "No, well, I collect $20 every hour." Say, "Okay." So the boy went and came back again and said, "Dad, can I have $6?" can you give me $6? Say, what do you need $6 for? He said, oh, daddy, give me now, give me now. So the man gave the boy $6. So the boy went and came back with $20. Apparently he had $14 and needed $6 to join. And he brought $20 to the father and said, daddy, can I buy 1 hour of your time? Because I've been trying to have time to talk to you. You are so busy. So let me pay you for 1 hour. And what that goes to show is to show that even though the man is busy working, trying to put food on the table, paying school fees, as far as the child is concerned, my dad does not love me. Because when I was talking to you about building family traditions, there are things that you do with your children. There are things that you do with your family that are memorable, that helps to build positive memories that they look forward to. And when you don't do those things and you think, oh, but I'm laboring to make sure I put food on your table, you are actually going to be failing because you are not doing what needs to be done. Even when we talk about love language, it affects your office also. When you are working with someone, whether it's your boss, whether it's your colleague, which is what in management now and in the marketplace we call it emotional intelligence, the ability to understand how to interpret the different emotions and actions and to ensure that you deal with everybody according to their own DNA. You find that there are bosses that you have. Their love language is that everybody should come and be worshiping them per second. So for you to resume and not come to their office to greet them, they will count it against you. So everybody must come. Hello, sir. I just came to greet you, sir. Everybody. But some people, excuse me, why are you greeting me? Is that your work? Go to your office. Why are you here? Why are you disturbing me? Nobody. So you need to find out. Some people, they want you to ask them, welcome, sir. How's madam? How's junior? How's the children? How's your weekend? They like that. Some people, they're not interested. My personal life is not your business. We are here to work. Let's work and move on. So you also need to understand that when it comes to even your work. And one thing that is very, very important when it comes to this issue of the love language is a lot of us, we express love in a way that makes us to feel loving instead of expressing love in a way that makes people to feel loved. We express love in a way that makes us to feel loving. So you do things so that, I love you, I love you, I love you. But no, the other person, do they feel loved by your action? That thing you are doing, can that other person interpret it as love? A man was confused one day when the wife accused him of being a selfish man and not being loving enough. And the man was like, what exactly have I done? What is the thing that you say you want me to do that I didn't do? And when the woman will express herself, the man was shocked. He said, have you noticed that all the gifts you have bought for me since we married are gifts that only you will enjoy? The man he said that you are buying me bra, or you are buying me pants, or you are buying me nightgown, or you are buying me negligee. He said, you have never bought me wristwatch that I can show my friend. You have never bought me shoe that I can wear out. You have never bought me bag that I can brag to other people. Say, am I going to be bragging to people that my husband bought me bra, my husband bought me pants? He says, so you are very selfish. Even in your gift is what will help you that you are buying. So the man was shocked. It was like a revelation. So many times we do things that makes us to feel loving. You now feel that, oh, I'm a loving person. But the question is, that person you are doing it to, do they feel loved? Do they consider your action as an act of love? Which is what the language of love is all about. That means you need to be intentional and strategic about identifying what the love language of your partner is, so that you will be able to speak their language. Because if there are two of us now, I'm speaking Yoruba, you are speaking Igbo. Even though we are in the same place, we cannot understand ourselves. We are on the same altar. We can even be sleeping in the same room on the same bed. But as long as we are speaking two different languages, we are strangers on the same bed. You enter plane with people. Are they your family member? Are you not sitting with somebody on the same plane? Do you have any allegiance to them? No. But you're on the same place, sitting next to them for 6 hours, for 12 hours. So that you are together in the house, together in the room, together in the ship called relationship, does not mean you are really together. You can be roommate and you are not soulmates. So it's very, very important for us to understand that this issue of language of love is something that is very, very serious. Now, let's move on to actions versus intention. Now, one of the things that I've come to realize is the fact that we tend to judge other people by their actions while we judge ourselves by our intention, and that causes problem. We tend to judge other people by their action, but we judge ourselves by our intention. So when someone does something, you are like, why did you do that? But when you do something, say, no, I was actually planning to do it, though. I actually have it in mind, though. So you are always judging yourself by your intention, because you believe, I have good intention. Why don't you learn to understand that people also have good intention? Even if they have not done it, understand that it is possible that it is part of the plan that they already have to do that. Because when you neglect the language of love, it will lead to erosion and insulation. It will lead to what? Erosion. And what's erosion? Love can be eroded over time. That feeling of love, that feeling of affection can be eroded over time. When you keep doing things that hurt your partner, you keep doing things that causes resentment, it will continue to erode the love and the affection. And over a period of time, like Pastor Kenny was saying, naked and not ashamed, that when they come out naked, everything will stand. You will come out naked, nothing will stand. Because it is the head. My hair is when the head is correct that something will move. When there is hurt and resentment, even if you come out where everything, nothing will rise. Why? Because there have been an erosion going on. Now, erosion leads to gullies. Erosion leads to gap. So there are people that are in the same room, but they are very distant emotionally. Why? Because the relationship has been eroded by hurt, by resentment, by unresolved issue, and over time, they have found themselves in a place where there is deep erosion and things are not working the way it's supposed to work. And then insulation also happens over time. If someone is here now and you touch them, so my brother, stand up. Yeah, stretch forth your hands forward. Now, when I touch him now, my skin is touching his skin. He's going to feel what I'm doing. But now, if there is a POP, you know what's called POP, pass up on his hand, and I'm touching the POP, will he feel anything? No. Why? Because there is an insulation. So, when you don't understand the language of love and you don't speak the language of love of your partner, there's going to be a lot of unresolved issues, unmet expectation. And you're going to find that over time, you have created a lot of insulation. That by the time you are touching the person, there is no touch. You are going to be making effort. Touch. You are making effort, but the other person is not feeling it. And I'm not talking of effort on sexual touch. I'm talking of just even the relationship. Because the person is in a place where all your efforts is like nothing anymore. Because they have been so insulated that in trying to protect themselves from hurt, they have imprisoned themselves to be hurt. Do you understand now? They are trying to protect themselves from hurt, but that protection, I will not allow my heart to be hurt anymore. This guy keeps hurting me. In trying to protect themselves from future hurt, they imprison themselves with past hurt. And let me tell you something. I believe very strongly that by the power of God and by the grace of God, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl that needs divine intervention receives it now in the name of Jesus. I believe in the name that is above every name, that whatever the enemy has programmed to cause you pain, to cause you sorrow, fails now in the name of Jesus. So when we talk about language of love, some say we have just one language, some say we have 5, some say we have 7. But generally it is accepted that we have what we call the 5 love languages. So let's look at that. Let me deal with number 1, and then we'll continue next week. 5 love languages. So generally, the 5 love languages are receiving gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, and quality time. Receiving gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, and quality time. So let's do number 1 and close. Words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. Those to whom this is for are people who flourish more based on positive words of affirmation. And no matter what you do to or for them, is what you say that means more to them. So for these people, they are like that woman that went to report the husband to the pastor. When last did you say, I love you? So words of affirmation, they want to hear it. I told you during the week that while Pastor Kingsley was saying that when Pastor Mildred begins to sing a particular kind of song, he knows that there is a problem. Me, I know when there is problem. There are 2 ways I know when there is problem. Number 1, when my wife's face change, there is a facial expression. I know that's wahala day. Number 2 is every time we communicate on the phone call always ends with, I love you. She always tells me she loves me. And I will reply, I love you too. That's the end of all our phone call. Anytime I call my wife or she calls me, and at the end, I don't hear I love you, it's okay, bye. Okay, I'll talk to you later. You know that there is trouble. Because once I don't hear that I love you, it may say trouble, wahala day. So you need to begin to think now, what did I do? You have to start thinking, what did I do? Now, that's the way. So, for people that have words of affirmation, they want to hear it. They want to hear you say, I love you. They want to hear you compliment them. Oh, you look beautiful, you are looking good. They want to hear you say, look, I really care for you. I really appreciate you. They want to hear you say things like you are special. You are important to me. They want to hear you say that. But unfortunately, some people just find it difficult to talk. And I don't know what it will cost you to say it. Because there are what we call the magic words. Hello, please, sorry, excuse me, thank you. These are normal words that are supernatural words that turns things around. So what will it cost you to say I love you? Many of us grew up without seeing our father and mother saying I love you, I love you. We grew up without hearing our father say I love you. Do you want to continue that? Where your ancestors has failed you, do you want to fail your descendants? So go back home today. Next week Sunday I'll continue. And sit down with your partner and ask your partner assignment. So write it in your notes. Assignment for the week. Ask your partner, what is your love language? So you know the 5 now. So by the time you come next week Sunday, you will already know, so that we'll now begin to pick what is your love language. You need to know what the love language of your partner is if you don't already know. So that's your assignment for the week, and when we meet next week Sunday, we'll get your answer.